thank you everyone for coming out today. We are a small representation of students all over America. We represent those who want to pursue an education. It's our right to do so, and it's our right to feel safe. We think about those who lost their lives while they were in school to school shootings, and those are the most important people who we represent today. It's the 1-month anniversary since the shooting in Parkland, Florida, where 17 students lost their lives. So I would just like to begin today by taking 17 seconds to remember those 17 people. It's extremely unfair that people have to die while they're pursuing an education. There's absolutely no way that you can feel safe in a school where you hear threats about it every day. There was in the news this morning, Oconomowoc High School had to close down because kids were threatening their right to protest. Oconomowoc had to cancel their walkout because of threats. These, just more than ever, these threats just prove our point. It proves our point that there is something wrong with the way that we treat guns, that we control guns, that we treat mental health, and even that we treat each other. It all starts with how we treat each other in schools, the way that we choose to be inclusive, that we open doors for opportunity, and that we allow everyone's voice to be heard, and that's why we're out here today. We're fighting for all those people. So I think we can all agree that clearly something needs to be done about gun violence. If you disagree with me, you're wrong. It's as simple as that. So we stand up for those who lost their lives, and we stand up for the future of this country, hoping to eliminate these tragedies that happen in our schools. Once again, thank you everyone, and I'm going to turn it over to Will.
So the media is going to say that we just wanted to get out of a quick 17 minutes at school. It's ridiculous. What we're actually doing is honoring the people who have fallen in this country to school shootings by advocating for legislative change so that it doesn't happen in the future. What does that mean? Universal background checks. That is a 97% approval rate in the United States.
Yeah.
Waiting periods after we purchase weapons.
Yeah.
The ability to file a gun purchase restraining order on an individual that could harm others. This is not, we are not taking away your weapons. We are making it harder for people that would intend to do harm to get them. Legal law-abiding citizens can still buy weapons and use them for whatever they want the same way they always could. We are students. Hear our protest. Thank you. Enough is enough!
Enough is enough! Enough is enough! No more silence and gun violence! No more silence and gun violence!
Yeah. Okay, so the future plans, March 24th, a lot of students here are going to be going to either Milwaukee or Madison and participating in the larger marches there. But we will be having our own march April 20th, where we will be meeting in the same place here, and then marching to the Oconomowoc City Green on the sidewalks, where we'll be protesting for the remainder of the school day after 10 a.m.
Okay.
April 20th will be the 19th anniversary of the Columbine shooting, which sparked the trend of mass shootings at our schools in the United States in 1999. So, to all the naysayers, pointing out that it is in fact 420, April 20th, and pointing out the fact that we are teenagers, and using that as an excuse to put down our agenda and what we want to achieve and how we want to honor the fallen in America, I just don't know what to say to them.
I just don't know, like, why can't they see us as adults who are taking over the future of our country?
Right.
Yeah. Because we're not fighting for ourselves as much as we're fighting for the future. We're fighting for our kids, we're fighting for their grandkids, because we don't want them to get shot while they're trying to go to school. Yeah. Like, it's as simple as that, and it shouldn't happen. It's so incredibly obvious that I don't want to fight for it.
You have to do it. You have to do it.
And to those that want to start arming teachers in our schools with weapons or training them, just look at the news. There was a teacher in a high school yesterday that discharged a weapon in a classroom a bullet fragment went to a student's neck, and he was found. He went home from school, and there was blood on his shirt, and they had to remove the bullet fragments from his neck in the hospital. I mean, you just have to look at the news and just to see that how terrible of an idea that is.
We also, I think it's important to emphasize that this one being the anniversary of a school tragedy, we really wanted to focus on like gun violence in schools, whereas April 20th, we want to look at it from a more broad perspective, talking about like legislative action, mass shootings in general, mental health concerns, and more focus on things like that. And because there's a lot of contributing factors that go into violence in general, and it's not going to be solved just by addressing one of those, but we're hoping to make a really good start just by getting like legislative action and gun control, and then we can like focus on mental health things and just social justice and things like that, because they're all really important issues that can contribute to these mass shootings.
I think we can all agree we're also very thankful for all of your guys' support in coming out here today and supporting us as students. It's also important to take a stand as adults too, so thank you very much.
Thank each and every one of you kids who are up here. Thank each and every one of you. You're doing the right thing.
We care about our future.
I would also just like to say like a thank you to our school and to like the Oconomowoc Police Department for supporting our right to free speech and our right to protest. I think it's really important that like the people in charge, our administrators, that they're all willing to let us speak up for what we believe in. So I'm thankful for that.
Good.
I'd just like to read something. So this happened last night at about 9 p.m. and it's the reason why all of the Pewaukee School District schools are closed today. My friend Riley William was threatened with her life because she did an announcement yesterday at her school about the walkouts. I'm just going to read out what this student said anonymously on a message board. All you liberals are going to be easy targets. I wouldn't recommend showing up to school unless you want to die. Pewaukee is going to be bigger than Columbine and Florida combined. Just you wait. Pewaukee isn't so safe. You're all going to die tomorrow and nothing will stop us. You and Tommy are the main ones focused on. Van Hole and Versi, then all the lefty supporters. So I'd like to thank all of the students out here and all the adults for coming out here, because you could very well be risking your lives by taking part in this walkout today.
And it's interesting because maybe a long time ago it was okay for kids to bring their guns to school and leave them in their cars and show them to their friends, and maybe things like that were just jokes. But like it's been proven to us that we can't take these things lightly anymore, and we can't just we have to take everything seriously when it comes to violence, when it comes to human life, because it's so easily taken away and so unexpected, and nobody can prevent it, because we shouldn't have to prevent it. We should feel safe. And there's just a big problem with how much we have to fear in our day-to-day lives no matter what we're doing. And so I mean it's really important that we address that factor, and so we don't have to fear, because that's not healthy, it's not good, it's taken away from our normal everyday lives.
I'd like to also call somebody out. Assemblyman Clayfish and Lieutenant Governor Clayfish, you are members of our community. Do something. Enough is enough. We are scared of being afraid. We are tired of being afraid in the classrooms. Enact some legislative action. Pass universal background checks in Wisconsin. Pass gun reform legislation in Wisconsin. It's easy.
Woo!
This morning, I called my representative, Jim Sensenbrenner. If you look him up, his number's right there, and you call, you can talk to his intern and start to make some real change. I
can't comprehend why why everyone wouldn't unanimously want to do something about this. Like, it doesn't make sense because, like, what are you gonna say to the little girl who came home crying to her mom that she needed new shoes because they did an active shooter drill and her shoes lit up and she was afraid that a shooter would be able to see her like that? What are you gonna say to her because she's scared of wearing light up shoes because she's afraid she's gonna die because of it? Like, you can't ignore that, and you can't just like you can't let that happen, and you can't let kids grow up in fear. It's just like, it's inhumane, it's unethical, it's just such like a bad part of our society. We hope to think this way until we see real change happen.
Exactly. Good.
Good.
And so we are planning the April 20th march in advance, and that's, if no legislative action is taken by then, we will be marching on April 20th. Hopefully our government actually does do something this time around and we won't have to leave our schools early on April 20th.
Okay, see you on the 20th.
Like, the last thing that I would want to close with is like the power of protesting. You look at Brown versus Board of Education, the court case that improved civil rights in schools. Those protests were started by African American middle school and high school students. Nobody believed that they could make a change in that time, especially, but I mean, it happened. You have kids who sat in bars to eliminate discrimination because that was frowned upon too. Like, protesting obviously works and we can make changes. This is a nationwide event. We have hundreds of thousands of kids who believe in the same thing that we believe in, and they're doing the same thing we are. And even in like the first 9 days after the students from Parkland organized these things, you could already see like CNN Town Hall, President Trump wanting to make changes like raising the age and better background checks. Like, these are all changes that we can sort of take credit for enforcing, and we're really proud to say that like we have the potential to make change in our government. And so with that, we're thankful for this ability, and we're thankful for all of you guys and your support.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough.
And just say a few words about what you saw today, what you're thinking.
I would just like to say that I love these kids. I've known most of them since they were little. I worked in the district for 24 years. Taught lots of them how to tie their shoes and to learn their colors in kindergarten. Like I said, and I'm very grateful that they were respectful today in this walkout. Their heart's cry is that we don't have violence anymore, that we would love one another and show our joy and our peace and to be friendly, and that we just have joy and peace and to love one another. Peaceful demonstration today. Thank you.